Borak Thung, Earthlets, welcome to 2000 AD, the Creator Tapes, where we're going to be bringing you in-depth discussions with some of the greatest talents to ever work for 2000 AD. On this episode, we are talking to Simon Bisley. Now, if you know your comics, you know who Bisley is. Revolutionary artwork in the 1980s and early 90s on 2000 AD series such as ABC Warriors, The Black Hole, and Sláine the Horned God, the fully painted fantasy series written by Pat Mills that blew people away and sparked an entire fad for painted artwork in comics. He went on to work on Lobo, Hellblazer, so many other series and comics, worked with Kevin Eastman for a number of years, and has now, in many ways, come full circle. Background to a sense of renewed purpose, and we go into how he views creativity, his artwork, his beginnings as an artist, how he has evolved and changed over the years. We begin actually with a little tour of his studio near Oxford, which is absolutely fantastic. Really enjoy being able to be in that space, see where it all happens. This episode is the first of two parts, so the second part will be available on 26th of April. So make sure you tune in for that. In that episode, we're going to go through The Horned God, his great opus, the thing that sealed his name amongst the pantheon of not just 2000 AD greats, but comic book greats. We're going to be going through that page by page as he talks about some of the techniques that he used, some of his memories of producing those pages, and then we round off with some interesting thoughts on his process now, on things like AI. So yeah, definitely tune in for that. But in the meantime, we're going to crack on with this episode where we begin with a little tour of his studio, and then we sit down for an in-depth chat with the master, Simon Bisley. So I guess this is Simon Bisley. Welcome to your crib.
Yes, this is my studio. This is where I work and spent most of my life.
Yeah. After you.
Oh, I have to go in, do I?
Yeah.
What am I doing here? Okay.
I'm not wandering in on my own.
No, okay. Okay. What's in here? Well, here. If you pan around.
I mean,
A few bits and pieces. This is, bits and pieces. Millennium Falcon.
Lovely.
Yes.
I mean, did you put that together yourself?
As I did. It's the one that took over 2 years to make. Oh, I forget what the company is called.
Like Eagle Moss or whatever it is.
What is it called? It's an Italian name.
Right.
Oh, I can't remember. I should know, but I've forgotten.
I mean, in terms of I mean, you and I have discussed in the past your archive, I guess, is one of a better words. I mean, there'll be a hell of a lot of never before seen stuff in this pile, won't there?
I mean, you could call it hoarding, but it's not. This is actual real artwork and real engine parts, bits and pieces that I need. And that's what hoarders say, isn't it? I need it. This is the love of my life. Yeah. This is a Harley Davidson I'm currently building. 1200cc 1972 Harley Davidson engine, modified frame. This painting on it, by the way, is just me experimenting about what I might do with it. I'm just trying to find out what the colour or what have you. I just don't know. It's 1,000. As you imagine, being Bisley, an artist, the possibilities of this are endless. What I'm trying to establish, what would look best for the bike, but not best for me, you know. So this you might see around this side. It looks a bit better, maybe. But here's some. Well, actually, why don't you?
Have a look. If there's any artwork you want to show.
There's nothing here. It's just more shit.
Okay.
Here. And there's my bass guitar. This is my amplifiers. I like to play music. And I'm collecting. I've got too many hats there.
One or two. Let me
Now,
come in here.
if you look, if you see here, down here,
Yeah.
these are some weights here. But I don't actually use them. I just use them to put my feet on to relax. What are you looking at there?
Oh, I'm looking at you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so here we are. This year's. A lot of work to do yet. I kind of like this patina that's been inadvertently created. Love these exhaust pipes. Got these online. These are pipes, period pipes. I mean, these were used on something. They're just oily and look really cool. I'm currently messing around with the idea of this weird twin caliper rear brake, which is way over the top, way excessive. I need to create a bracket that comes across here to brace this. What I talked about, maybe a shorter one. You know, got to make this up. It's all this kind of thing. Still got to get the gearbox. Still need the primary drive on it as well. I've got the front end. So it's getting there slowly.
So how much time has that soaked up so far?
20 years. Well, the thing is, it's been out. Well, basically the frame. It's been outside for 20 years, and then I quit drinking and realised there's a lot. Well, I mean, when you drink, and you do get a lot done. But when I stopped the booze 2.5 years ago, and now I'm clean, don't smoke, eat healthy, I realised, man, I've wasted an awful lot of fucking time just doing art and drinking.
Yeah.
I need to get shit done. And this Harley, at last, I love this. I love it to pieces. I'll be finished off. You notice that the tank is a 5.5 gallon gas tanks, but it's been extended a little further so it blends in with the. Looks like a dolphin, doesn't it?
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, I mean, it's the love of my life. This is. Love it. This is my art area. If you want to understand here, this is kind of where I work. Pretty rudimentary. I mean, this is drawing boards I've had all my damn professional life. This is great for me. You see, there's nothing tidy. Why would you? If you're you're doing an artistic process, we wouldn't be putting the pencil down and then pick the other one up. You throw shit around, and because I'm so used to it, I don't even hardly look. I just grab what I grab. It's just there for me, you know. There's out a door. There's this. I saw this online. I couldn't believe how good this is. It's unbelievably good. I love it. This is my friend here.
Boris Karloff on the wall.
I have a great affinity with the monster. Uh-huh. I always have. He's that loner kind of individual, and I don't know why, but I just find it. I have a great deal. He was a good guy, you know, because they made him a monster, as we know. This is just there's all bits and pieces here. If you want to scan over that, I moved the butt plug so it's not there anymore. Yeah, this is all kind of shit. General books and everything else, you know. Here's my little collection of books, my favourites. ABC. Yeah,
lovely.
Yeah, my favourite Bukowski. He's a great book. I love these fellows. These are great guys. I love reading about them. I've currently found a bunch of National Geographics. I've got about 5 years worth of them. I just bring a few in every now and again, just to look at. Yeah. So this is my place, man. Please. And I'm very happy here. I like it here. My TV, like I said, I work from this point here, but I have the TV on over there in the corner. I like TV on when I'm working.
Just for company?
No, I just like TV.
All right.
No, my Jeff Beaumont, my uncle, was head of the art department in Leeds University, and he couldn't understand how I could watch TV and do anything creative. How can you know? He talked about having to suffer a bit, you know, and maybe not just, you know, maybe you should struggle a little bit. And I guess I think it's true. Even that's coming back to me now after all these years. And what you said, and I think the thing is, I need to find a struggle, something else. Well, which I have. I got that in my head, but I've had it too easy for too long. And I'm gonna start getting creative again, in a good way, in a positive way. Just I literally moved everything into here. You never arranged anything. But like I said, as long as everything's square, it's fine. It looks a cross between like a hoarder. I'm not a hoarder though. I don't think I'm a hoarder because this is my stuff. I need it. Well, that's what hoarders do, don't they? But so I moved in here and I just had to work around it all. And I've actually got my Harley Davidson here, which you'll see, which I'm building in the middle of the room.
Because
And you're far away, aren't you?
I am far away, but this room feels like such an encapsulation because it's your studio, so of course it's going to be, but feels like an encapsulation of you. You know, you've got a lovely sweeping Harley Davidson. I'm surrounded by various tattoo studio designs, Harley Davidson stuff. We've got some bases here. We've got a huge painting of Nosferatu over in the corner. What looks like a load of bullets.
It's a bullet belt.
There you go. I feel like this is the most Simon Bisley.
Well, it's a good point actually, because basically everything. I'm building my Harley Davidson in the middle. I've got my bass and my amplifiers there. Yeah. I got my artwork here. So front end, I got my TV, which I love. I love watching TV. I like that. I would like to work with TV, kind of as company, as it were. So really, it's very womb-like. It's enclosed in my little bubble, my little world. I can shut myself inside into. I find it difficult to work in open spaces with other people because I can't focus. But I like this. It's a nice environment.
I mean, this discussion has got Freudian, like straight out of the gate.
That's what.
I mean, describing your studio as a womb, I think is.
Well, it's womb-like. It's comfortable. It's cozy. It feels safer.
I wanted to talk about to start off just by talking about your influences, because when we did the San Diego discussion, bloody hell, a few years ago now, we talked about the obvious Frazetta and Richard Corbin influences, but I'm curious about how all these things fed into your style, because yes, your ABC Warriors work, your Horn God work, your Lobo work, clearly all influenced by stuff, but it seems like it's always been your style has always been a unique distillation of those things and your personality. So I really want to kind of dig down into that. And when was the first time you became aware of things like Frazetta?
1976.
Right.
Everything came together very, very rapidly. Very rapidly. Now, firstly, I was kind of I was introduced to Easy Rider magazine back when it was way, way more hardcore, and at the same time, punk came out as well. Punk rock music. I was never interested in things. See, this is an awakening. Remember, as you know, when you're a teenager, you don't know shit really. Particularly, you just go around and suddenly something ignites you. Well, Frazetta's artwork ignited me. The Easy Rider magazine, the bikes and everything ignited me, because this is all new to people. Well, obviously you realize this, but when you're young, you know nothing. But when you suddenly see something you've never seen before, it's like seeing a fucking spaceship. It's the same equivalent. You're absolutely gobsmacked. You can't believe it. You can't believe what I'm looking at. I saw an E-Type Jaguar. I thought, my God, look at that. And I saw a guy riding a chopper. Picking up one of these. And I thought, what the fuck is that? And that gave that kind of. That period of time, there was Motorhead, everything else. I like the Ramones, so everything, all of a sudden, all this culture was hitting me in the head all at the same time. And I think I was kind of like born from this weird thing that happened to me. I was working in Findhorn Hotel in Findhorn Forest, Scotland. And I was at school and I was working as a waiter, I had long hair. I like to think I was a biker, but I was very...
Wear a little dicky bow?
No, I didn't, just a shirt. I was young. What was I, 15, 16, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was a really posh hotel full of posh people eating away, and I was serving away, And then there's this almighty rumble of sound. I never heard anything like it, just rumble of engines. And all these bikers came in, all these really strong Scottish accents. And they just came in, and they weren't rude, they weren't aggressive, they just came in laughing and joking, like something out of an old 40s pirate movie. Do you know what I mean? But motorcycles. Yeah. And these guys are like, I never seen anything like it. These bikers are just like you get in the Hollywood movies, but it was real. Yeah. And they were genuine. They weren't even putting it on. It just came in, they started taking the food and the plates and eating the food. There's loads of them, And then one big guy. He looked like a Victorian illustration of what a Viking would look like, And he sit down there. He said he sat down there. And he sat down with me and his old lady and whatnot. And they got a plate for me. I was meant to be the waiter, put a big bowl of big plate in front of me, piling food on it. And a guy here, they go, lad, with the rice is up here. Old ladies get hand and arms around my, and it was like, I was like, suddenly it was the most wonderful thing ever, because I saw a reality of people that were true and real in a sense of absolute freedom and not giving a fuck. And I was really moved when they sort of, sat me down and were feeding me, because they saw me as the how would you call it?
An equal?
Well, an equal in the sense that I was the one having to work and I was serving these people. So they took revenge on all the people who were posh and I was serving, and they served me. Right. And they were like, say, yeah, mate, you have that. They felt sorry for me, but they're like, So I kind of felt like blessed by that. And they all fucking roared off. And that was it. They gave me a wink and that was it. I thought, oh, fucking great.
So this is the origin myth of Simon Bisley.
This is one of the origins, yeah. I was blessed with seeing that freedom of mind and freedom of spirit, and that kind of you don't give a fuck kind of attitude thing. Fueled with Overkill coming out, in Overkill album coming out. The first time I ever heard music like that, I'd never heard anything like it, But the way the whole music thing. So it was an awakening for me with Rosetta's artwork. So that made me, injected life into me.
It's interesting what you're saying there. Were you as a teenager longing for a sense of belonging, longing for a community? Because you moved around an awful lot when you were a kid, didn't you?
That's right. I think what I did was I was like I have 4 sisters, the only son, and the thing is I became a very independently minded individual. And I kind of I never understood anyone but myself. I'd understand group culture and people together kind of thing. I didn't make many friends because once I went to another school, were posted abroad, went everywhere, everything else. So, and then my father died when he was very young. He was only 47 years old. So I became more and more insular, more I became more independent. And I had to look after myself in effect, in a way, And so I become very much an individual and very independently minded.
How old were you when your father passed away?
But I was 18 years old, yeah. So I had 4 sisters, 4 sisters and lots of aunties. So I was surrounded by women all my life,
And being a forces kid.
By the way, I want to thank that's the Scottish bikers in Forres for the meal. Thank you, man, and the pile of rice and the salmon. Thanks, lads, and you made my day, made my life,
Well, being a forces kid, particularly when you were, there's a posting abroad, so you there's always that sense of you're part of the forces, but you're separate to it. It's a relatively small world that you're.
It's a very small world, but then you have to go through this hierarchy thing.
Yeah.
Especially as being a boy, with the other guys. I mean, you got to get through this whole hierarchy. It's like a wolf pack thing, and it is. I mean, I'm not being dramatic or romanticizing it, but especially back then. I mean, you got to find your way and find your way in the pack, and I never really kind of did. Yeah. Because I never got there. Can't get close enough to people because trust and friendship and love come from brothers. I call them brothers. I mean, I don't want to say that, but from other guys, in groups, is you got to earn that, and it takes a while. You don't just have them straight away. So as soon as I got close and friends with people, or on a group and got accepted, then I was moved on again. Then I had to keep going through this whole fucking thing again. How tough is he? And there's plenty of times the kids wanted to fight me, to test me, to find out what I was made of, kind of thing, So it's kind of brutal, really, in a way. But that made me as well. I think so I got more insular, more into my art, more into my work. Yeah. I think, but I found the glory and life and everything exciting with the kind of biker culture that I saw. I romanticized that in my head. I saw these guys as noble knights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just better than, and just don't get. I love all that shit. And so that kind of fueled me, and fueled my art, of course. So I don't know. That was probably already in me. All this kind of stuff. Coming up with Sláine and the music and everything was already kind of there. It's just it just happened to all at the same time. And I think independence made me ferociously independent. God.
Because I mean, we've you and I
again, not in a romantic way. I'm like a lone wolf, and I don't need people. I do need people, But I became quite selfish, and I want to. I'll get involved with people when I want to, then I'll shut off,
Sure.
close off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't trust any motherfucker, really. You know, I'm very sensitive and get hurt easy. You know, so it's hard to get.
When we've talked in the past, you've talked about your, not to get too deep into.
Yeah, get deep. No, not to get too deep. You can go as deep as you want.
All right. You've
just don't have to answer.
Well, you've talked about your dad being, he was in the RAF. You mentioned that he was you mentioned that your dad was adopted. Is that? Do I remember you saying that, or his dad was adopted?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I guess a bit complicated there, but yeah. So, and the thing is, my dad was very. I think he was of the RAF type. You know, they were all pretty stoic, and they didn't really communicate any affection or love for people. You know, the kids. You know, they did show it in different ways by working hard and tapping on the back. You know, but they didn't really. They didn't communicate. You know, just they were dads. You know, and pretty like military type. I think when you're in the military, they don't really. You know, in a time where you didn't tell about your feelings, how you feel, or how you felt about anything. There's not today. You can freely talk about how you feel with other people. You know, and your friends. But then it was. I also felt kind of isolated in a lot of ways from my dad in a lot of ways. But things I got to know him because maybe he didn't know how to communicate. You know, and but he did eventually. He did later on, but then he died. It's too late. You know. I can tell you they're dead. Oh, he's dead. Oh, fuck. Thanks, man. But I still talk to my dad. Oh, no, that time we were in the pub and we were talking about it, and I was all crying and stuff because because I miss him. I get upset. I miss him, and I'm 18 years old again. I miss everything I could have done with my dad, all the great times we could have had. You know, I used to find myself in a bar drinking, I just start crying because I wish my dad was here. I get to know him, and it's funny. I was interested about. I was trying to analyze that. Why do we need to be? Why are we so attached to someone who made us, who's our father or mother, whoever? And not everybody's attached to their parents, but I wonder why it's so important to us. You know, so I still talk to my dad and everything else. You know, and still talk about everything. But it's weird now because it's odd because I'm 63. My dad, so I'm older than my father when he died. So I'm like, it's kind of a weird kind of spiritual relationship I have now. I speak to him less now. Because it's just gone, it's kind of things are swapped over in a kind of way, and also at the same time, I'm coming to an age where I'm starting thinking about my death and how much time I've got in my life.
Sure.
So kind of swapped to thinking about me and my family and how I'm going to look after them and what I've got to do to support them in the event that I'm slowly slipping away. And I ain't got much time, man. That Harley Davidson's got to be fucking built, otherwise I'll be too fucking old to fucking ride it. Do you know what I mean? I'll be too old to kick the motherfucker over. Hey mate, can you come out? Can you kick the bike over for me?
Just get some stabilizers, like some training wheels.
Do you know that's the fucking end, brother. And that's there's things what makes you feel old. I mean, there's lots of things why I feel old, but when you can't kick your bike over, man, you know what I mean? And there's things you just can't do. You can't function. It's like, oh man, what's the point, man? I mean, someone's gonna kick the bike over, they pick me up and put me on the fucking thing. They're stabilizers, yeah. Oh God.
But right
anyway.
Now, so this is psychologically interesting. I think your work. One of the things that's always defined your work has been an energy, has been a youthfulness. There's always been that sense of teenage rebellion in that. And then you talk about your dad.
I know I wasn't rebellious. I wasn't rebellious.
Well, this is the thing. So you talk about your dad. Existing in a hierarchical way, he was in the forces. That's a world of rules and orders and things like that. How much do you think your evolution as a youngster and the independence you talk of was not necessarily rebellion but a reaction to that?
That's interesting. Well, I know my father loved acting. And he loved painting. He wanted to be
creative.
He was very creative, and I think he wanted to be an artist, wanted to be an actor, wanted to be, on the stage. So he really, really wanted to do that. And I think himself was really stifled by being in the forces. He really enjoyed the forces. He respected it, but as he got older, I think he was starting to think, well, I'm going to leave the RAF, and what am I going to do? But he's too old for everything, So it's genetics, it's nature, it's a biological mechanic this in you that makes you do this and make you good at this and make you good at that. So I was instinctively drawn to that creativity because I think because of my crazy Polish families. Because my ancestry is mad. My grandfather he's Polish. He fought in the Monte Cassino. He was a Polish soldier in the British legions, and he was very creative as well. So creativity was a mechanical thing and a mechanical system. And if you're creative and an artist, then you automatically become rebellious. Not in that, like you said, if I'm rebelling or I'm trying to go be against, it's never because I want to be in a cool sense, like Marlon Brando. Let's just rebel and just be tough guys and look cool. It's just a way you're made up. And what I enjoyed about those bikes I'm talking about before, I just saw a freedom of spirit and soul that I was very attracted to. And I just showed at a very early age, I can be that. And I think that's my dad was like that, but he was kind of like, I don't know what he's thinking. Who knows? But your parents are your parents, and they're just human beings like we are. But how can you explain something? You're just making up words for the sake of it, just for the sake of filling up an interview, because where that comes from, no one knows. But I think it is purely a mechanical thing. It literally is just something you made up, and you got more. You aspire to be more creative because you are. A lot of people can be creative, but they're not. They can be a lot more creative than they think they are. But you have to be into something to be into it to be able to do it well. You can't just say, be an ice skater and be a champion one. You can't unless you want. You can't make someone play an instrument that they're fucking into and passionate. Well, then why would you fucking do it? Why would you get a stick and hit a drumstick?
It's all about proclivity. You've
it's a means of expressing.
Things are not predetermined. It's just that there are slots in you that can be filled by a certain thing, and clearly,
I think you've answered the question for me. Actually, something I've asked myself for so long. I think what you kind of brought into my tiny lizard brain is that it's compensating maybe for something. The creativity and all these worlds I go into, the music, the bikes, all that bit is something that I'm diving into as a consequence of maybe how things have been like in my past. The need to be to escape into another world, and find out freedom, and that motorcycle represents freedom, and it is. You're not free of anything. You're still fucking earthbound. You can still get fucking arrested, but you can't. But the thing is, for me, when I ride a motorcycle, without sounding corny, because it will, it is quite literally. You are a badass for a day. You're on this fucking chopper. Because I believe choppers is just mostly about the look of them and building and the appreciation of it, and riding it and feeling great and feeling good and tell everyone to fuck off. It's just like, fuck you, man. I don't know why the rest of the world has to fuck off. No one's done anything to me. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's just somebody saying, look, I'm not like you. I mean, I think it's the need to be independent. I think why punk music came out, John Lydon and everything else. Because what John Lydon did teach us, I think, was fuck old people. I mean, I'm old now, so I'm telling myself to fuck off. But he showed you that you can be as youth. You can be what you want to be and express yourself instrumentally. And I think you really honestly felt that, and you can and that showed us that we can evolve. We evolve much earlier now and be creative much earlier. I mean, some of the greatest. Like Lancia, Edward Lancia, the artist with Monica the Glen. Some of the greatest composers and music was done when people were really young. And it's interesting, like, you look at, some bands, I don't want to name any bands, I don't particularly like them, so I won't mention them. But there are bands that were so young. I said, he was that young when he wrote that? Jimi Hendrix did that when he was that young? That's now, Jimi Hendrix to me represents an absolute personification of absolute fucking raw animal talent that is absolutely just honed in that human being, and nature, force in nature that comes through, because we are an instrument. And I think you take the forces and everything and it just comes out creatively. I think more people should try and be creative. I think you'd be fine. Like say, but I can't paint. Doesn't matter. I can't. I do okay, But it's like, get a fucking cat. A guy said to me once, "Don't be afraid of a machine. Don't be afraid of machines." I was driving this forklift. I used to drive forklift trucks. And I was like fumbling around with it. I was backing it. And he said, "Hey, listen." He jumped on it, just bang. Don't be afraid of the machine. Don't be afraid of things. Now, most people can't do something because they fear it and they fear failure. So that means you'll never do anything. So I was saying to people, just get a big giant canvas and get lots of paint, put it in your hands, get to know the paint. This sounds like one of them weird hippie kind of therapy things, which it is, isn't it? and just spread it around and see what you can do. It's all about the emotion. A lot of it to do with his emotion, because so many people are so concerned with a finished piece that looks brilliant. You see every drop of rain, the mountain, the flowers. It's all about expression. Now, I've learned recently a lot of artists, like even like Frazetta, wasn't about being flash. It was about getting down and getting the mood down. It's about the mood, and what's the mood, and it's like instrumentally. If someone said, like, for example, like criticized Black Sabbath, and he was a professor of music. Professor of music, eh? Imagine that being a professor. But no, I mean, finish this. Sorry, I'm sorry. I apologise. I just quite. I didn't want to be rude, which I will be. Anyway, is that he said, well, Black Sabbath, but the notes are really simple notes, right? And you take something like Lemmy's. Oh, but his notes are simple notes. That's the genius of it. You can write that stuff. It was just, well, they're not simple notes. I don't think they're simple, but the bass lines of, Geezer Butler and everything else, it's absolute fucking genius. I mean, what's brilliant? Because you just feel, is that brilliance? Or was it just flash? It was soulful and brilliant, and it was what was needed is needed, and what isn't. They put it down, man. I've had a lot of coffee, by the way, and I'm drinking tea.
Let me just move this back.
What do you want to see more of? Ugly face.
Just the top of your head, really.
Oh, I can't see the top of my head. Well, it's thinning. Are you still videoing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, you can. Yeah, can you see the top of my thinning head there?
That's all good. I mean, mine's
Bukowski.
Mine's thinner than yours, and it's...
Typo negative.
So I kind of want to tie all that back. That sense of energy, that sense of, raw creative power to when you basically decided you wanted to be an artist, because, as I said, so much of your, particularly your early work, is full of that energy. There's clear references to music and inspiration from music, along with the kind of painting and artwork influences. Do you think that's because you were, to all intents and purposes, self-taught?
Yeah, I was self-taught because, again, it was my nature, and that's what I did. And I think the creativity, and maybe a lot of people are creative, is just the need to travel and move and go. Yeah. Remember, our forces of nature are about finding food, killing something and eating it, and this, that, la-di-da, and another. And although we had caves and houses and everything else, pretty much we were foragers, and we moved around from where the animals go, way back when. And because we sit down on our asses, we lie in a comfortable bed and get up, and what are we going to do? Yeah. But energy is still there. That primal need is still there, because we could turn it like that tomorrow. If the world became like a disaster, we suddenly become like primal again, or our instincts would come out like a dog or a cat does. Cats generally always primal, always very adaptable in nature. So I think that's what it's like. Football. People are football fans, and they like group sports because they love the battle, the war, the winning. Yeah. That's what we're like. So I think I put that into it was music. It's just bringing something out, So you're being creative, and in a battle, sitting down. So the battle's the page, the battle's the music, and you're delivering something,
Because you.
It's not hard to ring up for a takeaway, is it? That's not a battle, is it? But you got to dial the number.
Sometimes getting out of bed is a goddamn battle. But
I'll Google getting out of bed. What's that one? I do it very well.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm lying. Go on. Slip that bit. It's just bollocks, isn't it?
Because it's this whole thing about, when you were a teenager, deciding you wanted to do art, trying to find a way in the world, dealing with something as traumatic as your father passing away at the age of 18.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the source of your artwork, the source of your style, that sense of energy of fuck you world kind of attitude? Was that when you were formed, basically?
I never had the attitude fuck you world, really. There's a lot of things in the world I don't like, but I don't know why. I think fuck you world is just a cliche that you use, but I don't mean it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's fuck you, I think. Fuck you, fuck everybody, fuck everyone, fuck everything. I think that expressions means I don't want to be tied down. I don't like to be the same and dictated to. And and put down. So it's like fuck you, fuck the world is like just the way you feel. You've been maybe suppressed.
Sure.
And then a lot of things, obviously, that we all have our own individual kind of ideas of what that is and how we feel, you know. And you get angry with, well, you just blame everything and get angry if you can't have that freedom, because that means that would mean my life, you know. I'd give up my life if I couldn't. I'm not being dramatic. I really mean it. If I couldn't, I don't know. I would fight to the death for my freedom, you know. If I felt I was being, you know, or just be a complete coward and just be suppressed. Do you know what I mean? But it's the idea of it, you know. Is I don't know. It's my nature. I'm just out there, you know, and I don't know when to stop sometimes, you know.
So that's really interesting. Because, I mean, you
Energy.
Were you going to art school, or did you spend a bit of time at art college?
Now you're talking about mechanics. You're talking about the practical side.
I'm interested
Yes.
about the connection between these two things, because you are self-taught, but you did a little spell at art college.
Yeah, but I don't think I did a spell at art college, but when you say self-taught, it was already there.
Yeah.
I just had to all this, everything's already there. I just had to hone it by being in an environment where it would flourish and grow and be born.
Yeah.
And then you keep going, don't you? But I think the college situation was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I was there. I don't know what I was doing there. I was very arrogant. I really thought I was the dog's bollocks. I really did. I still do, actually. God help the world. And yeah, I just didn't. I don't know. I was kind of, you know, it's interesting because a lot of us are thrown into the world, thrown into this place. But no one really explains why. We're kind of in a wilderness when we're young, you know, aren't we? You know, when we're at college, we don't know. I mean, I was just discovering like women and smoking and alcohol. That's what I learned more about, you know. And I just found that a bit of a curious place to be, you know. And I find it very easy. It gave me an environment, a place to you know, look, the more you do something, more of something, the better you get. So when I was at our college, I was just doing more of it. You know, that's all really. But you just get better and better and better. And so, I mean, I don't think anyone could teach me. I learned perspective, but I kind of knew that anyway because it's fucking obvious, isn't it? Isn't it? If you don't know perspective, don't drive.
I could never master it personally.
If you don't know perspective, don't drive a car or a motorbike because you're going to fuck up. You know what I mean? You know, there's a vanishing point. There's a bend. You know, we live in a flat place. You know, everything's flat. You know, maybe look. But I don't know if God, did I learn anything? I don't know, man.
Because you weren't there for very long, were you?
No, I was there for about a year.
Right.
Well, that's it. I was there for a year. Then my father died. And then I ended up, I went back, and then I ended up working as a builder, as a loading paving slabs on a flatbed lorry. First thing in the morning at 6, noon, at lunchtime, and then at night time before. So paving slabs, I mean the big 2x2 inch off the floor from a pallet up onto a flatbed all day. For like 2 years. I must have shifted like a day, must have been like over 10 tons of concrete. I lifted off the floor. And I was only eating chicken. I wasn't getting paid hardly any money. So I just eating what I used to buy like a big bag of frozen sausages. And I'd eat them all in the weekend, you know. Yeah. And I was just eating garbage, but it's funny. But yeah, I mean, I learned a lot about life, man, a lot of shit. But
was that
then I went applied for. Sorry, go on.
No, you can.
No, then I applied to go to another, a Bachelor of Arts,
right? Which
I got into.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to. But I didn't turn up at the. Is it inauguration or what is it? Inauguration? No, it's not. That's presidents. That's presidents.
Matriculation when you start, is it?
Graduated.
Yeah.
So I was meant to be there to graduate, but I got a job at 2000 AD. Then when they were at Southwark Street in London. A friend of mine, Tim Brown, and he worked for an auto magazine as an editor, and he kind of got me moving into this kind of like world which I knew nothing about. So I'm already gratified for him, and he introduced me to 2000 AD, and I met Steve McManus and Richard Burton, great guys, and I got a job. They said my artwork was a bit scratchy, because I used a pen, not the traditional pen and ink brushes, And I got to work, and I think I screwed up the first 2 pages. It looked bloody dreadful, all out of proportion, because I've never done a comic book before. So I had to evolve and adapt pretty fast, very, very fast, so it's been downhill ever since. And when you talk about Sláine, we can maybe talk about this painting process. Yeah. So I think I was never. I'll tell you something, to be honest. I don't think I was very, very aware. I think my head was always in a bit in the clouds. Everything was so utterly new to me. Everything. Just get a tube. Get a tube. To get around London, you got to get a train or get underground. I think, what was that? What is that? I don't know what that is. I think because my father died, I was never introduced to anything in life that you have to do. So I was kind of like pretty much on my own devices on everything. I had to invent everything and learn everything from with no instruction, as it were.
So your friend Tim, you knew through.
Oh, he's from a good friend of the family. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And his friend of my father, his father was a friend of my father's. It was in
right. Okay.
Yeah, a great guy. But
and he encouraged you.
Well, yeah. He's an artist as well,
right.
an editor and whatnot. But no, he was. He just figured that, hey, Simon, man, you got a talent there, and you're just fucking wasting it, And he introduced me to some people in London here and there, record company, and like I said, introduced me to 2000 AD. He said, put forward my work, and that was it, really.
What this early stuff, this pre-ABC Warriors stuff. I'm interested in this. What was a young Simon Bisley with a scratch pen doing? Was it just whatever you set your heart to? Was it fantasy stuff? Was it bike stuff?
Well, from the very, very beginning, what it was, I made this St. George and the Dragon, and I made it out of milk bottle tops and things, You know what I mean? The armor and everything.
Yeah.
And then I just remember people standing around looking at it and going, oh, I think it's great. So I was really into knights.
Yeah.
Knights in armor. And Ivanhoe. I used to like Ivanhoe. I loved Ivanhoe. I had the models and the kits and all that, and I loved animals as well. So I used to draw medieval knights. I drew drawing animals, lions and tigers and gorillas and things. I was really into doing that. But that wasn't just because I was. Again, like I said, it's a biological and dynamics of your genetics, what have you, coded me into that, I believe. Just so I was just doing it a lot.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing as a kid's doing dancing all the time, then becomes like a great dancer. Well, there's also and so I was drawing a lot of that, and people just really enjoying what I was doing. And then a friend of mine in Cambridge, St. Bede's School, Cambridge. Also, the college I went to in the year I was at college for a foundation course in art and design was in Banbury Technical College, the art department side of it. So Banbury, great school. See, I wish I'd made more of it now, thinking about it. The things I fucking should have taken more notice of, instead of being a fucking dick and thinking I'm cool and independent and a badass. I should have focused on good people that are good, and people could have gained more. I think maybe that's why I was like that and a bit lost in the world, because I wasn't listening to anybody. And I think because I was singing independent, I don't know. I'm around. It's just like a therapy, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So so we went to God. I don't know if I love the sound of my voice, don't I? But so I did medieval nights, and as I went along, I met a guy in St. Bede's, Cambridge, secondary school. Was it second? Yeah, secondary school. And he had Spider-Man comics, and Spider-Man comics, and all the Marvel stuff and the DC stuff. Is it okay to mention it on here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I love 2000 AD though, because when I found 2000 AD, that was way better. Actually, that's the thing, because that was way off the fucking track. That was really great. I seeing that so different from everything. Anyway, we get to that. So so I started just drawing superheroes and got into superheroes, and then I decided I like Conan the best. I like Conan, and that's, of course, later on I saw Frazette's rendition of Conan in 1976. And then it all came together. I thought, my God, this is like Conan in real life. This is like Frazette has gone back in time or in the future. and it would have been Conan. He would have painted Conan in Britain somewhere on the border of Scotland and England, around there, or Ireland, because that's where the map is of where Conan was. So he went back there and he was drawing Conan when all the Earth was one. So I wonder if he'd been more Neanderthal, wouldn't it? What if he'd been? So it came from that all kind of connected, you know. But the thing is, when you're an artist, you're creative. You're always looking and absorbing and finding things out, you know. I think maybe from people, there's stuff I maybe contradicted myself plenty of times, but I don't think that there's nothing from people I needed that could give me anything that I wanted, you know, because you're very greedy. When you're an artist, you consume like a black hole. You just grab it, you just suck it all in, absorb it, take it all in. Because to be creative, I think most good creators and thinkers probably just experience life rather than just sitting down trying to draw. The hand is the thing that you practice at, just like you do a bicycle, so you can steer around the bends and use the bicycle. Your hand is just eventually just knows how to move the hand around on behalf of the brain. That's all it is. So you get practice at it, so you can move your hand any way you want to, but your brain's making your hand move. You say, "Oh, you got great hands." No, it's your brain. It's your brain functioning, and something further back than that you can't understand. The same dream state. If you get into a dream state, then your work comes out. But you see what I mean, don't you? So
that instinctual element,
instinctuality, yeah.
I find it really interesting with artists in particular is the number of times they'll talk about.
I never know that way or that way. But go on.
They'll talk about that kind of fugue state, effectively, that you have to slip into to kind of connect with whatever's percolating
you're right.
because if you think about it too much, you're getting in your own way.
Exact the womb where I'm safe and it's quiet and I can focus and get on with it. There's no distractions, you know. I don't know how it is for everybody, but like, for example, like if I'm playing an instrument, the way I see it, let the paint do what it fucking wants to do. When you ride a motorcycle, it finds its line. You know where you're going, but you know you can feel it. You can feel the dumps of the bumps and how it's going and judge it. You know, using your perspective. And actually, with my handlebars like this, so I got two markers there, so I can. Anyway, so you'll use all those references, don't you? What was I saying? Go back on that. What was I saying before the handlebars bit?
About the whole instinctual thing that you go into like a
that's right.
Suspend the higher functions of your brain.
Well, people cope with well, if you're talking about economics and you're thinking about work for means to an end, as in making money, you have to put yourself in that. Yeah. If you're not, if you're not too, then or it will just come naturally in other ways, you know, or you're in the mood. So that's how it usually, because you're in the mood, because it just happens, you know. Like anything, you just get the urge, it's hormones. I need to do something creative. So it's you have to get your instinct. I personally get into state by being angry, a bit annoyed with everybody, just grumpy, and I know that because I know I'm just shutting people off. I want to focus on here, you know. And it's not easy sometimes being creative when you're under pressure, you know. You know, well, and when you're working for the man, you know, it's like
interaction
is
between thought and the mechanical.
Well, yes,
you've got a skill, but you've got to turn it on when it's needed.
That's
not
right.
When you feel
But that's when it becomes a freedom part of it. Comes a freedom of creativity and the freedom of your mind to be creative. Is it when you think you work because you're working for the man? A kind of any rebellious, like I said, not in the romantic sense, but just because you're that kind of nature, you have that nature. It kind of makes you kind of a bit anti it, you know, because you're doing it because of a reason for them and just to make money. Somehow becomes a little less. It's very hard. That's why I used to drink a lot alcohol, just to get all that out of my mind. You know, sure. I find it's a very personal thing. Drawing a painting and doing what you do is a very personal thing, and so we don't want that. We don't want people to intrude into that. You know. And when it becomes monetary, it's good. But then you can enjoy it and get paid, obviously. But I don't know what I'm trying to say, really. But we're talking about...
Yeah. Were you wearing those a moment ago?
No, I was wearing them now.
All right.
No, I get... the reason why I wear these, because I'd like to work in a kind of dim atmosphere. Too much light.
Right.
So I'm saving my eyes. Plus... I don't look fucking great in these. Hey, look how good I look. My God, I look good in these.
But it's all right. Let's
Why is he putting his shades on?
well, let's talk about that moment when you started ABC Warriors. You did those two first pages, like
ABC Warriors we're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
ABC, yeah.
you did those two first pages. No, don't want to do those.
Don't want to do those. What?
Well, you said you screwed up the first two
Oh, I
pages.
screwed. No, yeah. I didn't want to do it. I just made a mess of it.
Right. Okay.
It's like getting on a bicycle and falling off a load of times.
Yeah.
That's all.
Um.
Plus, they sucked.
One of the I mean, it's an oft-told tale, but one of the interesting things about the ABC Warriors, the Black Hole, is you were on it, and also
SMS
Smuz, two very different styles.
Yes.
And I know Smuz, and I felt it was really unfortunate that he got a very standard sci-fi style,
Right?
like very elaborate.
SMS we're talking about.
fantastic,
Yes. Yeah.
But then yours is very different.
Yes.
And you come in, and they'd not really, not blown smoke up your ass or anything, but there'd not really been anything like that in 2008.
No.
That kind of sense of raw energy on something.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what you remember of that process of doing those pages?
Well, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, because I couldn't draw robots very well, or wasn't particularly interested in drawing robots, really. I was more anatomical kind of thing. I was looking more. I was seeing the ABC Warriors more as a biomechanical, biological, and just because that suited me better, because I like superheroes. And the thing is, SMS did it right, did it absolutely perfectly. And the detail was magnificent. It was absolutely beautiful, and I think he's, for us, telling a story and true. And he was true to the characters, way more than I was, and I was just being a fucking show off. And I was compensating for my weaknesses by just being very dramatic to try and get attention. It's the same thing as Steve McQueen when he was in a film with Yul Brynner. It was a Magnificent Seven. And when there was a group shot of Steve McQueen, Yul Brynner, and the other characters, although Steve McQueen wasn't doing any dialogue, say Yul Brynner was talking, Steve McQueen would be like playing with his hat, flipping his hat around, flicking his hair to try and get the attention to him. See what I mean? So he would steal that scene. So what I'm doing is I'm flicking my hat around in the book. You get me? So I can be seen, No, SMS, God bless you, man. He was amazing, brilliant. And now I'm older in hindsight, I was very competitive then, though, But no, he was perfect. I look at his work now, I think, fuck me, that's a lot of detail,
But in terms of the process you were on, because
I enjoyed it as well. Sorry, I enjoyed it as well. I wasn't just showing off; I just enjoying it and showing what I can do. And look at this,
Because it's your first comic. You'd never produced a comic before. You'd never done pages.
No, ABC Warriors was my first comic book I'd ever done.
Bloody hell!
And that was the first. Yeah, so it was a learning process from there, and then I learned quick, adapt quickly. I was on the spot. But once I got the hang of it, I fucked it all up. No, once I got hung of it, I got better.
Yeah.
Because what's interesting is you see the process of the book, the detail. Everything looks magnificent and brilliant, but as you go along, what happens is what would happen naturally in evolution. It becomes an evolutionary process because you lose your focus or concentration on what you're meant to be doing, but what you how the kind of standard you're looking for, the reader's looking for. And you just go into a natural state of like simplifying everything and simplifying. Before you know it's the most simplest line, a more economical line, but it still told the story. Now it's interesting, like music. How many fucking notes you need to do to create an expression or express something or to bring something over? See? And I found that I was just getting more simplistic, and my style was evolving in different ways because I was experimenting with different things. Because I wasn't experimenting as a Simon, as a personality, as a person. My brain was experimenting because you do go into a kind of state of there is a state. Drunk? No, I wasn't. No, I didn't. No, you go into a state where you're naturally learning something and a process of how to get something done quicker, to get to what you need to do to get paid. And I wasn't focused, so there is kind of like a way of doing things faster. And that's what I was doing. I was like, whoa, man, I put some more detail in there. Now, why am I doing that? Why would I put more detail in there? Do you keep it consistent? Or is it necessary? But it is necessary because that's what you're getting paid for, you know. I mean, for example, if you're going to get someone's commission to do a painting of a person, say a man and a lady, well, just do enough that's the man and a lady, just to suggest it. And that's all you need to do, isn't it? Oh, I wanted a man and a lady. Well, you got it. What do you mean you want more? You want some paint on there? More structure to it? You know, do you know what I mean? I mean, how far do you go without making it static and a bit pretentious? You know, which is so it's been pretentious, I think. You know, but you're illustrating what someone wants to see. They want to believe in what you're looking at. You know. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but you understand that you go into a state of just not really focused on the end product as much as just going through this thing. You know. I mean, if there's a simpler way of walking, you would. You know, but you need two legs. But if you could hover, you'd hover. I think, oh fuck, I'm hovering, but I was paid to walk. That makes any sense.
With the style on ABC Warriors, it's like I said, there's so much energy in it. You can see there's influences there, but that process of learning quickly on the job. You know, you've described it as arrogance to a degree of like look at the things that I can do.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like entertainment. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, you're entertaining, and you want to show off and be there. You know, I think.
Well, once you've got into the flow of it,
doesn't make the artwork any better, though, does it? Well, your personality can distract. Well, he's a personality. You know, the artwork's up, but you know what? He was a good old boy. You know.
Did you get any sense of the reaction?
Oh yeah. I was used to that because it was just always. I mean, when I say I get a very positive reaction, people got such a buzz out of it, and I enjoyed that. Who doesn't? But yeah, I mean, it did, but because you know you only can react to if you get a reaction to your work, you know you're doing something good. You know, if you're playing and if I'm riding my Harley, it looks fucking great. People could react to it. Go, oh, I feel good because there's a process. But it's showing off, but it's being proud. I don't know what these are. Is it necessary? Is anything necessary? Why paint the motorcycle with the beautiful colours? Or why do you need to go from A to Z as fast as you can? Yeah. I love that about us human beings. We got to get there really fast. Why? But we do. Let's build this fucking bike, put money. These cars, hey, you made it a quarter mile in XX amount. So but no, I'm sorry, I'm just distracting.
No, I was just looking at my.
I'm distracting.
Looking at my notes.
Can you put me back on track? On question.
I always love the fact that as the younger you was like, I really like Conan. Like the Frazetta thing is Conan.
Yeah.
And then you get to draw robots, and you go, you know what? I'm just going to make them look like Conan.
Yeah, well, this is what it was. An interesting Conan is I like individual characters who work individually or the loner, you know. But yeah, I think what's that again?
You were really into Conan.
Yeah,
and then when you
came
onto a strip about robots, you were like, I'll make them look like Conan.
Well, I was into anatomy, human anatomy. So I just I fitted that in the word. I'll slow down. So I fitted, I suited the way I wanted to do them. And it was fine with them. And they've not changed since. I've kind of made it that way, and the people have kept it that way, you know. But I do personally believe that, for example, Metquake, Mongrel. Sorry, round. And Hammerstein, they were. I should have kept them more kind of boxy and robotic. That's the whole point of them, you know. They were old, you know. So I have some regrets. I'm not regrets so much, but I could have done them better. I think Joe was a very physical, character, you know.
He's usually the one that everyone kind of reacted to before then and since.
Yeah. He was. I really focused on him quite a lot. I really enjoyed him as a character.
Did you have a relationship with Pat while you did? Were you talking to Pat while you were drawing?
Oh, we talked for hours. Right. Pat was probably one of the most open and helpful and what can I say, collaborative individuals I've ever met in any aspect. He'd have perfectly good books, just tear the pages out of these books and send me piles of references. And I think what's great about Pat, he was so open to the individual's interpretation of and ideas on it. he really liked the idea of that, of saying, yeah, let's try that. Yeah, go on, yeah, it was great, cool, yeah. He's never like, oh no, it's got to be the right, like I've written it. If he was happy about something, he'd say, but he's never unhappy about anything. He's interesting, like he's a learning. Christ, we were young then. I mean, even Pat was young then, and we were all very. I mean, it's a great to collaborate. See, this is a collaboration thing, you know. When collaborations work, they work. And there's a natural kind of organicness to it, and a natural kind of energy that comes across, and that's why things are successful, because there's an honesty to it, and it contains a soul at that point. Because every time you do something creative that you're into, you give a bit of your soul. It chips away, you know. That's why we get all grumpy when we get older, because we've got no fucking soul left, you know. But we got nothing else to give. So. Tell you, it's a piece that I mean, any great works you see, they say, well, that's it. Yeah, put that soul into that one, and we can read as human beings. We're instinctive. We can look at someone, judge someone, understand their nature, the way they move, an aura. So I think a piece of great work has an aura that comes out of it. You know, I think it's like we say with the guitar. You know, and I don't want to divert from the art, but that piece of wood, I play bass. You know, fucking terribly. I used to play the drums, that was terrible as well, but I managed to get away with it. Yeah. And anyway, the bass is just basically, what is it? It's a piece of wood, a tree, with struts of iron across it, stretched, right? So what you're playing is, I see it like I'm playing the tree's voice. I know that sounds weird, but the tree, you know, the wind and the noise and the sounds of the experiences, the tree is absorbed in the soul of humanity, everything around it. The tree absorbs and sucks in. And when you cut it and you make it into resonance, then it has a voice that it sings, just like it does when it's when the wind goes through, you know. So I think what I'm saying is, let the fucking wood and the iron and the instrument, let it guide you along. Don't fight it and try. I can't play it. Just chill the fuck out. Chill out with the paint. Make the paint move. Enjoy it. You know, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be anything specific. If it sounds good, it sounds good. And repeat. You know, but does it sound good because you think other people will like it, or that's a tune, therefore it must be all right? You know what I mean? I mean, you got to paint, do something for yourself and follow the instinct. I like, for example, if you're playing a note, maybe you can't stop there, ba-da-bum. Now, why did I do that? Why didn't I just go ba-ba-bum? Because you can cut and because I didn't do that. That's because for some reason that happened. When I'm doing a painting, then that happens. You let anything happen roll in front of you. Things are given. Your brain forget your brain. Oh no, I hate it. Sounds cliche, but you let the tools do the work. Let the paint move around. Let the strings do their thing, zing and zang, and let it go through the amplifier and come out. You know.
I mean, so connecting this to your art, particularly with something like ABC Warriors, that's clearly the source of the energy of the thing. Is you're going with the flow. You're enjoying yourself. You're having a good time. You're letting well, but it's
I know what you mean.
There's a reason why that strip still connects.
Yeah,
it's because it's got energy.
Yeah, a tremendous amount. That's where you put it all. You know, you don't go out and hunt a woolly mammoth, you know, and throw spears at it, or wrestle with a fucking saber-tooth tiger and die. You know, just Actually, I wouldn't be. I'd be one of the ones who just stays in the caves and shits himself. You know. Anyway, I just stay. Oh yeah, I'm the guy who would have painted the walls. You know, that's me. That the same personality would have done the hands and the. Anyway, so.
But
interesting.
It's so.
Don't restrict your brain. It's just let it go. Let it go. Everything in the front of the brain is doubting everything. Is questioning everything. That's what happens when you know anything you do in life. If you fucking relax, it's way better. The door opens. Like a shutter. There's in front of your brain, right? The shutter opens, and all that in the cupboard, all that you dream, that lucid dreams, you have to get. I think if you get into that kind of state of lucidness, where you let all that information, all your life experience, will just spill out and move around, and that's like what dreaming is. Because when you're asleep, you have those dreams because of consciousness. Is the doors are open. The consciousness is. You know, then when you wake up, the conscious bit is there, and then you're worried about everything, and you open your brain. You got to chill the fuck out. Does that make any sense? It doesn't to me.
It does. It does make sense. But one thing I want to ask about, you've mentioned like the booze and things like that, and I wonder if at the same time for all of this desire to be creative and to let go, there was also a degree of anxiety there that you needed a way to unlock that and deal with the anxiety of
anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, anxiety just comes and it introduces itself to you, comes to you and stays there, remains, You don't know why, but it's a cumulative of a lot of things, that are going to remain there. And, I mean, the thing is, alcohol, it got me to where I could just, focus and enjoy. And some of the best times I ever had was when I was drinking and doing art. I used to love. Because you know what I did? You know what I used to do? I have TV on, like a TV, watching an old classic movie, Humphrey Bogart movie, watching Blade Runner. Right next to me, it's all dark, and I'm sitting there doing some artwork. I got the light just where I want it. And then I had a relationship with the movie, and with alcohol, I could find myself merging into the movie and the art, and just enjoying the whole experience. And it was like my company, and I really enjoyed that a lot, and I could really shut off and enjoy the whole thing. Yeah. Until it got too much. When I was just drinking too much, that's why I stopped. I stopped 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. With ABC, because that's it's a graphic novel's worth now. That's a fairly substantial piece of work for it to be your first work.
Yeah.
What place did that put you in mentally? Where were you when that was coming to a conclusion? Were you high on the response? Were you thinking about what comes next?
No. It's in the moment thing,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, just I do it like my work, like my art, creativity is just like breathing. So I just just what I do, I don't think anything of it. I just get up and do it, then I do it, then I don't. I never understood why so many people just obsessed with just carrying on and carrying on. All my best works just come from just doing fucking nothing, like racing around. What I would do, my response was riding around my Harley around like a crazy bastard, or driving, that kind of thing, and enjoying life and everything, And
because what, you were in your mid-20s?
Yeah, mid-20s. Yeah. So I was working out a lot. I was at the gym every day. That's very funny. I got a Charles Atlas bodybuilding course.
Oh, really?
He just
the one that you sabotaged in the comic?
So I wouldn't get sand kicked in my face anymore. Because I was really worried about that. I don't want that to happen to me.
Brilliant.
But so I did that. So I was weight training for years and years, and I think that although that labouring work made me physically very strong.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like the physicality. So when I was doing ABC Warriors, it was all about physicality and So in the sense, I think it's like with Michelangelo and Da Vinci, everything had to be like you see you're showing off how you understand anatomy and everything else.
It's a point we're going to come on to later, I think.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask about this, and you've mentioned this before in interviews. This transition from doing ABC Warriors to doing Sláine. Yeah. So obviously you'd worked well with Pat.
There you go.
And what was it? You said you'd looked at Glenn Fabry's black and white artwork.
Yeah.
On Sláine.
Yeah.
And realised that you couldn't outcompete Fabry, so you decided to paint it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at a telephone number. You get bits of paper and numbers on. I think, who the fuck is that? I don't know. I remember now. I apologise. Sorry.
But you looked at Fabry's work and you were like, well, I can't outcompete because ultimately
I could outcompete him, but I couldn't do. I could outcompete. When you say outcompete.
Well, that's it. What do you mean by outcompete?
There's kind of angles on that, but go on. Yeah. Sorry, finish the question.
Because previously you said you looked at Fabry's artwork and you were like, I can't beat that in black and white, so I'll paint it. But I'm interested because Fabry's incredibly detailed, very mannered, classical. You're much more instinctual, much looser, and ultimately you're two different people. So yeah, you couldn't outdo Fabry because Fabry's Fabry. Well, but what was your mentality at the time? What were you thinking when Sláine was up?
Competitive. I got to win. I got to be the best. I want to show off. And the thing is, how did you put it then? I mean, I looked at Glenn's and I thought, well, I've got to do my version of Sláine, and he's so skillful, so fucking good with the brush, and because I look at it. I mean, look at Glenn Ferry's Sláine, and so I thought, well, what if I just paint it, do a painted version of it, and start using that process to do it, just to try to do it and do something different with it and make my mark on it. And I at that time, no, I still wouldn't be able to compete with Glenn's black and white artwork. It's so beautiful. Look at it, gee. I know, because it's a different process, And also, there's a very, like with Brian Boland and Glenn, they're just very calculated on how what they're doing here. There's a very finished look to it. But the way my style of approach and my style of working with something is let it back up, and get back. I like to fight out of a corner. I want it to all back up, then boom, I explode and do it. That's why it's so frenetic and so and then tighten it all up. So again, it's using the instinct and that free will and free spirit of mind just to go along with it without any inhibitions and just get it done instinctively. And then close to shut the door, then use a frontal lobe to go analyze and look over it and consider it. So I like to, that's the way I do things. Just tend to be, last minute.
Well, I mean, this is a whole conversation about deadlines.
Let's not go there, because I think the reaction is fairly obvious. Anyway,
but tell me about when the offer came through for Sláine. Was it like, right, you've done ABC Warriors now? Do you want to have a go at Sláine, or was it perhaps make a recommendation, or was it you pushing for more?
I don't remember. I don't remember shit. Do you know what I mean? Because I've moved on since then. My whole body's completely different. All my cells and my whole body structure is a different person now. I'm not that person anymore.
At least you're honest.
Fair. Well, I mean, the thing is, it depends. You only remember things that are important to you, or but I do remember fondly about it. I wasn't that fond because I don't remember. I'm trying to dig my way. No, I'm sure I got a phone call from them as you want to try Sláine. I think it was pretty an uneventful thing. It was a natural blending into taking on Sláine. The only thing I did think about, which is what you mentioned about, is how am I going to approach this? How am I going to do this?
Was this something you talked through with Pat?
Yeah, talk extensively. I mean, Pat threw me so many. We used to talk for hours. I mean, literally hours on the phone. And, the old star phone is like, well, that, standing in a fucking hallway, talking like this.
But a little table with a seat.
Yeah, all that. But I love talking to Pat. I love Pat to bits. And he really helped me along. He was like I guess he was kind of like, not a sort of sensei, but no, someone I would look up to. What do you do?
Like a role model?
A role model in a sense of where I was going with, because he was helping me out with this, helping me out the whole approach. And I don't remember our conversation, but we didn't have talk. Bloody hell, we talked. I used to get very excited about we were going to talk to him about everything. They get the package that come through and these fucking books and shit. And I'm reading through them. And that's right. I used to love this with Pat Mills when I'd send him. I think it was by facsimile, or we had to send the fucking thing by post.
Yeah.
So apologies about my language, but it's not going to improve. Just going to start to relax more, So I'm gonna, he would then phone me up and look through all the panels, and talk about each one, and say, "Oh, I like this. That's very good the way he done that. Yeah, that's excellent. Or watch this. Be careful of that. This, that, and the other." So it was good times, man. It was good times, and I think it got to a point where I was becoming successful and getting the money in. So I just it was all I had.
If you don't mind me asking, what kind of page rate were you on for?
I don't remember. Do you know what? I literally don't remember. But it was a fucking awful lot of money, because loading lorries with tons of concrete by fucking hand. It was this. I mean, like, let's put it this way. Okay, this way. It was like, it must have been in the hundreds. I think 100, 200 or something. Sure. Was it? It's got to be something like, or at least it was £100 a page.
Yeah, which
that's my month's fucking wages.
Yeah, a lot of money.
And so it was all. So I could spend my time on that, But then, of course, then you build up your estate, and you're buying this, you're buying these sports cars, you're buying all this, that, and the other. So you have to work more and more to pay for that, and more. Then it affects your artwork, and it's just about getting it done for the sake of getting the money. Then so there was, but that wasn't terribly apparent, really, not till maybe later on. when I fell out of love with it for a while.
Was that as a
Sort of.
consequence of something like Sláine, or was that?
No. Oh, it's a consequence of what? Me getting a bit cheesed off with it. Oh,
Yeah.
no. I enjoyed. Oh, no, well, Sláine, no, not that. I think maybe later on I got a bit tired of it. I got a bit tired, maybe because I wasn't enjoying what I was working on, which I can't remember what it was. But anyway, we go through that thing, you know. I needed a break.
Yeah.
But no, Sláine, I did. But we'll talk about Sláine later. But I don't know. But yeah, that I started to really simplify that very quickly because I was evolving. My art was evolving. Before I knew it, I think, Christ, I've very simplified this and done this very quickly. Damn, it's meant to be a lot like this, you know.
Because I mean, we'll go through the book.
And because ultimately you end up with nothing at all.
Yeah.
And because art is what? No, true art isn't doing nothing. True art is actually, because everything is egotistical, is about, which is fine, but it's all about presenting something. So when someone presents somewhat like, I mean, why do anything at all? Like someone had an exhibition of blank canvases. Now, people go, oh my God, this is not art, this is the blah, blah. But guess what? You can open the newspaper and it's all in the middle spreads about how this isn't art. And why is it art? Because you're talking about it, and why it isn't. That's what that artwork's doing. It wouldn't be very good. Sláine page is blank. I'm just putting it into, you know, so how much do you put into something, you know, before you say, well, let that go? Is it commercially viable for me to do more work on this, or is it just hurry up a little bit?
I mean,
I found was happening on the end of Sláine.
That's a key point, because
speeding up.
You look at the beginning of the book, and I mean, that is pure Fazzetti. You know, that is fully realised pages, lots and lots of detail, and then by the end, it's clear that for just the pure mechanical reasons that you have to do the pages.
Yeah.
You've honed it down into something quite different.
Well, and also because of deadlines, because it was like I was putting so much work into these pages, and it was like they needed the pages in. They needed to put one of the pages in. You need to get them in. And where are they? It was okay. So you have to sort of like rush them. You have to rush them out in the end, which I wasn't happy about, you know. So it was part of that, but part, you know, just getting the money in, and part just the deadlines, you know, which are getting really tight.
I mean, it is nuts. This is a weekly.
They sent me the pages back.
Oh, really?
The last pages, yeah.
Right.
They said, Simon, can you just like, you know, put a bit more work into these, you know, because they fucking suck.
Well, right at the end of Horn God.
Yeah, so I just sent them back like they were after a week. Right. I just thought, all right. No, I didn't. I actually put some work into it. Actually, I respect to them. You know, I put more. They look better. Actually, I remember a story. No, they didn't look better. They were better, but they didn't look great. They're not as good as the rest of the pages. I remember a thing with a wine waiter, a guy who owned this Findhorn hotel in Forres, and in Findhorn, you know, Scotland. Beautiful place, man. Beautiful people. And I was, you know, the wine waiter, as it were, and I didn't know shit about wine, really, you know. Anyway, so this guy didn't like the wine. He said, I didn't like the wine. This lady, oh no, it's something fucking or another, you know. I said, okay. And then I told my boss, you know, he said, this guy doesn't like the red wine. I said, okay. So he came round and he took the red wine and walked off with it. Went round the block for 2 minutes. Just came back with the same bottle of wine. Gave the guy a sip, and he goes, "Oh, this is magnificent." That taught me a lot.
Yeah,
that taught me a lot. You know, I don't know what I learned from that, but it taught me something. You know what I mean?
But not on the page.
It showed that it's just pomposity and trying to impress. And what do you do? Try and impress when you just not? I'll be interested to see what people think of that. What that meant? Why he did that? Is he just trying to seem posh in front of the lady? Or whoever he's with, you know.
Sure.
So, like, obviously, but you can't do that with art because if it sucks, it sucks. You can't go around the block and come back round. It's better.
Yeah.
Because it's printed and it's forever. All you can do is apologise.
With those
sorry, pages sucked. You know.
With those Horn God pages,
I needed money. I needed more money.
What was your process? So, is it acrylics? Is it oils? Is it watercolours?
Multimedia. What was funny about that?
No. I just because that covers such a range of things.
Answer the question. Yeah. Well, okay.
So go on.
Well, I was going to go into that.
Explain your process on the Horn God.
No. Well, the process of the Horn God is it's just pencil it,
Yep.
and that would get approved. Yeah, we love these, and then I'd go ahead and ink them. Not particularly, but just generally ink them. And then I would cover it with a burnt umber paint, just like they've done for thousands of years. Like Michelangelo, these guys were doing that. It's not even in Florence, you know. I know it's not Napoli. The wall in the Roman times, the walls were done the same process, and then you just highlight and build the paint on top. So what I do, but I would also use spray paint as well, car spray paint, for a nice kind of effect, and then paint on top of that, and then maybe spray in again. Spray kind of unites and brings everything together. It gives them more of a kind of a
spray paint meant for cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, spray cans. Yeah,
I
don't know why I did that. Well, I'll tell you what. Well, I tell you what. Well, it's funny because what I did a drawing of some American football players, running whatever in pen and ink, line work and that. And I don't know why. I just picked this. I was spraying something. I think it was a motorcycle tank or something with red oxide primer. I just sprayed over the top of it. Sprayed it. I don't know why. And then what I did, I got some white paint and started picking the highlights and highlighting it, And then it all came, oh man, then you can add more colour, everything else. This is what happened with Sláine. I mean, you can see the whole I learned to paint in like a week. I learned to paint on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I basically just added colour and I was so into it. I was so into it, but I did like Frazetta. Frazetta was my inspiration on that, obviously.
Yeah.
And so that's remarkable how I just achieved that so quickly. I mean, you look at the Sláine the Horn Garden, look at it, and the first pages I did, never knew. I mean, I could pen and ink a little, but I had experience on ABC Warriors, of course. But I had done some painting with on the cover, ABC Warriors cover, but this style was altogether different. It just found it. It found me. Okay. It found the vessel, and I was it. And of course there were influences as it went along. Frazetta, then we got into Gustav Klimt, another artist, and so many others. Goya, all those. Salvador Dali jumped in there, and you can also see Bill Sienkiewicz. Bill Sienkiewicz. Sorry, Bill, didn't pronounce your name wrong, but anyway. But he had done Electro Assassin, which was the first thing I saw. I thought, fuck me. And the thing is, so I think I was doing something revolutionary, I guess, but I wasn't. Because Dave McKean was already doing that. I didn't know about Dave McKean's work, but you look at Dave McKean's work, The Killing Joke, holy shit. It's remarkable, because people say, oh, Bisley, in his Sláine, he revolutionised comics, all that bit. But Dave was... I call him Dave, but Mr. McKean, he was quite advanced in his style already. I mean, Judgment God, remarkable. But mine's a different kind of thing. But, I wasn't the only one. But I guess mine had more impact, maybe, not more impact. I'll take that back. Because Killing Joke, was it not Killing Joke? It was
Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum, yeah. I mean, that's fucking magnificent. And he was, I think, a bit ahead of his time, kind of using photographs and things like that. Yeah. I mean, no one's bettered his Joker. That was remarkable. And so he was already there, man. So yeah, as far as British artists go, I mean, the thing is, he's not a comic book artist, so he is an artist. And he just, that was something he was doing, it's just another part of his extension of his artisticness, as it were, his artistry.
I think,
people forget that. So they don't name me as like the fucking, I wrote. No, I didn't. Frank Bellamy was before me anyway.
I mean, I think the comparison to Frank Bellamy is more apposite because you were working on a weekly comic, and doing this, and it just happened to coincide that the presses were able to cope with these colours.
Yeah,
you couldn't really do fully painted artwork before then. So if you're raised on a diet of in British comics anyway, if you're raised on a diet of black and white comics, pen and ink comics, and then all of a sudden this incredibly rich, every page of Frazetta effectively, like that's gonna leave a mark. That's that is a revolution for those readers.
I suppose it is. Yeah, I think maybe because they hadn't seen that. It done like that before. I mean, if you're seeing Glenn's and you see that, it's all together. What? I wanted to make a mark. I knew it was good. I knew it was going to make I get the glory out of that, and I enjoyed that a lot, and I enjoyed people's reaction to it as well. Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, especially with the boar. The hero like it's a
Hero
harness
harness.
corset
Yeah.
almost. With the boar skull and the things. I mean, that was God. I enjoyed doing that. I knew it was good. No, I mean, the thing is, for me, it was a hell of an experience because it was just coming before me. Imagine that you're painting all these things before me. I mean, what is this? It's amazing, how it comes about.
Was
It's experiencing it happening.
yeah. Was some of it almost like an out of body experience? Like you're watching yourself drawing this.
Well, you are, yeah, but you do, yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually. Yeah, you get into that zone, don't you? Yeah.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much to Simon for being so generous with his time. I hope you enjoyed it, Earthlets, and got something out of it. It's so great to be able to sit down with someone like Simon and really drill into where they come from, their process, how they view their own work, and the way that they produce their art. So the creator tapes will be back in a month's time, 26th of April. So make sure you tune in for that, where we're going to be going through page by page, The Horned God, which was the book that sealed Simon's reputation on the world stage, as well as rounding out our in-depth discussion. And make sure you join us every week on In Orbit every Wednesday, where it's me and Chloe talking about the latest 2000 AD and delving into the back catalogue, the archive, and just having generally a bit of a laugh. And also every month, don't forget, there is the 2000 AD deep dive with my colleague Steve, where he gets a critic in to talk about a specific story or a character, and they explore it from a critical point of view. That's the second Saturday of every month. But until next time, Earthlets, we'll see you for part 2 of the 2000 AD The Creator Tapes deep dive into Simon Bisley.